Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, finally, we have the 7-day ratings in for Doctor Who. I made a video about the ratings the other day, just about the overnight ratings, because I just couldn't wait. It was taking so long to get the 7-day ratings, but I'm just going to do one on the overnight. The overnights are so low, there's no way this isn't going to be the lowest rated episode of Doctor Who ever. And it is of the current era. It is the lowest rated episode of Doctor Who of the current era. It still didn't go lower than the 1989 episode, which had 3.1 million, which is the lowest ever, and that was Battlefield. Yeah, sorry, Battlefield 1989, which had 3.1 million. That is the lowest ever, but so this was 3.47 million viewers, which is still the lowest of the current era from 2005 onwards. So a lot of Doctor Who fans are like, it's not the lowest ever, it's not the lowest ever, it's not lower than... Yeah, it's still the lowest of this era, it's still gone straight down. So I don't know what they're so happy about. It is the lowest rated episode of Doctor Who, the current Doctor Who. So the show is going down in ratings, and all these people who say there's nothing wrong with the show, it's just haters, it's just, negative people. It's the general public that is abandoning the show. It's not just fans that are abandoning the show. It's the general lack of interest in the general public. It's not that, see, you can blame small sort of people for having sort of cult-like sort of politics and stuff like that and getting a lot of attention and being noisy, but the reality is those people, if they are only a small group, then they can't affect the show, they can't affect the ratings because the general people aren't going to be affected. But it's the general audience that's losing interest in this show because it's just not fun. I was watching it and it could have been really fun. I mean, you had, giant fish monsters on, giant flying space sea ships, galleons and that. That could have been really fun. But they managed to make it just boring and pointless. And I'm watching it and I'm going like, oh, so that happened, so that happened, so that happened. Oh, okay, now it's over. Oh, now they're talking about the relationship and that's it. Okay, wow, okay. The story was gone like that and just nothing happens. And they did manage to minimise a really great female character, which I have never even heard about, who was the female captain of like a whole fleet of pirate ships back in the whatever century. They really minimised her and made her look far less remarkable than her real life story was. So yeah, the only good thing about it was the actor who played the captain who sacrifices himself. He at least was hot. The Asian guy, that's about it. It was the only thing that, besides the actual images of the giant glowing sort of sea space vessels, whatever you want to call them, they did a couple of shots of them look good. That's about it. But yeah, okay. So the 7-day ratings were 4.7 million, and yeah, that is the lowest for all. And it was the funny thing was, even though it was the lowest ever Doctor Who of the new era, and the second lowest for the whole history of the show of like 60-something years, it still was the third most watched show of that day and the 24th watched show of that week. So it also says a bit about TV watching in general. The viewers are dropping in general. People aren't watching TV as much as they were. Part of that's just because of the internet. Part of that's just because of streaming. Part of that is just because there are all these political issues and political divides, and a lot of people are being turned off. A lot of right-wing people are being turned off by left-wing politics and vice versa. And once upon a time, a TV show used to be able to not be political and, sort of not offend anyone. Now, if you're not defending one side, you're offending them. If you're not defending the other side, you're offending them. If you are defending them, you're offending the others. So you can't really win as a TV show. You can really only have half of the audience. You're never going to get the whole audience, because if you're not seen to be pandering to one side, the other side will, be upset. So yeah, I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I really wanted to enjoy it because I just thought it's not connected to The Timeless Child. It's not connected to, I didn't think it was connected to any real life people or any political stories. It's just going to be a fun story about sea monsters, sea devils. I thought, well, that's going to be cool. And I saw a couple of shots of ships. I thought this could be fun. But it just wasn't. They just sucked the fun out of it. And the Doctor is just really annoying. All she does is run around like some frantic sort of gerbil and just spit out sarcastic little lines and just I don't remember any Doctor being like that. I only saw Tom Baker, David Tennant, and Chris Eccleston. They're the only ones I really saw any amount of episodes with. But none of them were like her. I don't know what she's trying to be. She has let down the opportunity of being the first female Doctor by doing such a bad job of the character. It's not that she's a bad actress. I just think they had the wrong idea of her, and she had the wrong idea of who she would be and who he would be as a she. And it's just a mess. Yeah. I'm just sort of glad it's ending, and I think everyone's kind of a bit relieved it's ending, and we'll see what comes next. I hope they do another woman, but they just do her properly, so they can show that it can be done and it's not about the sex. And yeah, that's what I'm hoping happens, but we'll see.